2023 City Council.
Call the council meeting to order. Ask you to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight, before we get into the council meeting, we have a oath of office for our new police officer, Daniel Moonen. And if you want to come up, I guess I have to swear you in. Make it legal. I think maybe we'll come over here. A little more to spread out. Come on over.
You just stand there, Bob.
Okay.
Right in front of me, that face me, sir. Thank you.
You want to put your hand on the Bible and repeat after me? I, Daniel Lawrence Moonen,
I, Daniel Lawrence Moonen,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and to discharge faithfully
to discharge faithfully
the duties of the police officer
the duties of the office
of the City of Winston, Minnesota,
for the City of Winston, Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Be safe out there.
Yes, sir.
Need you to- Well, he's not official till he signs it, so let's not be too premature.
There you go. You want the Bible?
I think it belongs to him. It's your Bible. isn't it?
That'd be mine. Thanks, sir. And then if you guys
Thank you.
You bet.
Yep, you guys can all leave if you want to stay.
No problem. No.
Vote on the Winstock, no.
You're out of order. Get out.
She always is.
Okay, with that,
Okay.
we'll move on with the consent agenda. Tonight's consent agenda consists of the following items. Item A, approve the minutes of the following: the City Council work session, March 7th. City Council regular meeting, March 7th. Item B, approve a 1 to 4 day temporary on-sale liquor license for the Church of Holy Trinity's Winstock Country Music Festival, scheduled for June 15, 16, and 17 at the Winstock grounds. Item C, approve the application for exempt permits submitted by the Winston Baseball Association Incorporated to conduct a raffle on July 23rd at Dennis M. Campbell Field in Winston, contingent upon the organization providing all necessary documentation to the State of Minnesota Gambling Control Board. Item D, authorize the closure of 2nd Street North between Albert Avenue and Fairlawn Avenue on Thursday, May 25th, from 1 o'clock till 3 in conjunction with the Winston Elementary Grandparents' Day celebration. Item E, authorize wage modifications for part-time police officers in the City of Winston, placing Robert J. Cripps and Joshua Fahey at Step 2, and Tyler Bruns and Bart Huthman at Step 3 of the part-time compensation plan. Item F, approve the pledged securities that Security Bank and Trust Company has purchased for the City of Winston for the month of March 2023. Item G, approve the building permit report for the month of March 2023. Item H, approve the financial report for the month of 2023. And item I, approve the claims list for April 18th of 2023. That's the consent agenda. I'm looking for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, and I abstain from voting on item F.
We have a motion by Tom. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. No public hearing, no old business, but we're going to jump right into County Road 5 Extension Project, Wetland Replacement Plan. Start off with Adam.
Sure. First off, good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. It's been a long day for you gentlemen, so we'll try to move quickly with some of these items. So this item on the agenda this evening is another step in our efforts to get County Road 5 extended through the industrial park in partnership with McLeod County, so it's certainly fitting that they are in the audience this evening. With that being said, I'm going to turn over to Josh Eckstein, engineer with Bolton Mink, our city engineers, and he can explain this action this evening.
Thanks, Mayor, members of the council. So this item we had previously discussed. It is the wetland bank credit application that we need to move forward with in order to mitigate for the impacts that we're going to have as part of County Road 5. The previous application was submitted, and there's a process that you go through to receive comments on that application process. We did receive one comment, which was that there is a bank that is closer in proximity to our project within the minor watershed, and based on the wetland rules as they currently are interpreted, we would be required to purchase from that bank instead of the bank that we had previously looked at. Part of the reason we didn't originally look at this bank is there was not originally enough credits, and somehow that now there are enough credits. I'm not sure when they added credits, but there are now, and this is slightly higher cost per credit. However, because of the proximity issue, we are required to switch and purchase from this bank. So that's kind of where we stand. So a total of 3.88 credits is proposed to be purchased from Wetland Bank 1768 instead of 1776 for a total amount of $338,700.72 on the table. Be happy to take questions.
How much more is it than the other one, roughly?
So it's approximately $58,000 total more. Now with the cost split that's about $10,400 to the city share.
Any questions for Josh?
No. And I would just add it is still slightly below our budgeted number that we had.
Right,
In
and that's what's really important. This is still less than what we projected for this item on the project budget.
So our engineering firm overestimated again to make themselves look good, right?
We always prefer that they overestimate.
You know, if Jake would have been here, he would have appreciated it more.
Take it.
Yeah. Any other questions for Josh? If not, I'm looking for a motion.
And make a motion to cancel the previous purchase agreement with Wetland Banks 1776 and authorize the interim city administrator to execute an agreement to purchase wetland credits from Wetland Bank 1768 for the County State Aid Highway 5 Extension Project, and further authorize a payment for the purchase in the amount of $338,700.72 and the payment of fees in the amount of $8,900.72, resulting in the city's portion of the project cost share to equal $60,966.13.
We have a motion by Jeff. We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion, second by Steve. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item is Winston Municipal Airport Entitlement Repay Agreement. Adam?
So as part of our planning process out at the Winston Municipal Airport, and as part of that, the capital equipment plan, we are looking to purchase new snow removal equipment here in 2023. With that, our project costs are a little higher than we initially anticipated due to some of the requirements with Buy American, and those requirements are based on using federal funding. So with those requirements of Buy American and additional costs associated with that, our project cost is coming in higher than our current federal entitlement balance of $348,000, approximately $348,000. So we are looking to borrow $150,000 of federal entitlements from the city of Pine River, the Pine River Regional Airport. It would be a one-year loan where we would repay Pine River in 2024 when we get our next round of federal entitlement dollars. So you can kind of see on this chart what our CIP plan is for out at the airport. Here in 2023, again, we're looking at doing snow removal equipment or acquiring that. Right now, we have a balance of $382,000 of federal entitlement funds. and or that's what it's going to require, and we don't have sufficient balance, that's why we have to borrow the $150,000. Currently, we have 338. It's a little bit hard to see on that chart. We have a balance right now of 338,000. The project cost of 382,000. Hence why we have to budget the 150,000. So with that being said, this is all in action toward that potential snow removal equipment. But we still are not certain that we can even find a vendor here in Minnesota to meet the Buy American needs. The size of equipment we need is smaller than most airports, so there's not a lot of that equipment built, especially to meet that Buy American standard. So with that being said, we're doing the best we can. We're putting out some requests for proposals for some of the vendors to see if they can meet that need. But in the meantime, we are preparing ourselves financially to be able to move forward the project if we can find the piece of equipment. So, are there any questions on that or other items on the CIP? This is a chance to get this capital improvement plan from the city council. Notable that we're also planning on purchasing some lawn equipment. The council chooses, we'll present that, but we have that budgeted at least. And then also down in 2026 and 2027, we are looking at the hangar project where we would construct an 8-unit hangar for lease to pilots, lease space to pilots.
I have a question, Adam. If we have a hard time getting that piece of equipment, how is the extra money from the other airport that's loaning us, is that cause any issues, or do we wait till we...
Well, we'll wait till to see if we determine if we can purchase that equipment. If not, we'll just transfer those funds back.
There's no
cost associated with that transfer or interest. So again, it's very common for municipalities to borrow their federal entitlement dollars if they're not using them in a current calendar year or current fiscal cycle. Not uncommon. We've done it in the past for other airports. Josh, I don't know if you have any other insight on that, but again, it's a common occurrence in that federal funding.
Any other questions for Adam? If not, I'm looking for a motion.
I can make a motion to Title B, entitled Repayment Agreement. Consider a motion to authorize the interim city administrator to execute an agreement between the city of Winsted and Pine River, Minnesota, for the transfer of $150,000 of federal entitlement dollars to the Winsted Municipal Airport in 2023 and authorize repayment of the loan in 2024.
We have a motion by Jesse. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item, purchase agreement, 121 Baker Avenue East. Adam?
Okay, so this agenda item in front of us this evening comes after a kind of this has obviously been a very long project. This property at 121 Baker Avenue, we previously entered into an agreement with a different entity last year. That entity was not able to meet the obligations of the agreement, and ultimately the city of Winsted received the property back, and I think that was completed in January. In the meantime, the Winsted EDA has been deliberating this project and how to move forward with that, and ultimately they decided to review a proposal that was previously in front of them, in which the property or the gentleman making the proposal decided to back out of the proposal due to some concerns with the environmental impacts of the property, as well as some of the adjacent property owners. But again, after revisiting with the property owner, he wanted to put in a new proposal. The EDA considered that and ultimately recommended the city council enter into an agreement with the gentleman. And we've created this agreement, or we've drafted this agreement similarly to the previous agreement we had in place that was not met with the property owner. So it's similar terms in which the LLC or the gentleman receiving the property would have to demo and abate the blighted conditions within a certain time frame, and if he doesn't meet that obligation, the city of Winsted would receive the property back. So again, that's a high level view of the agreement. The agreement was in your packet, so you should have had time to review that. But again, on a high-level perspective, they are responsible for removing all the blighted conditions off the property, and the property is theirs free and clear. That does not include the 40 by 80 foot storage building, is how it's termed, on the southwest corner of the property. The date in which this has to be completed is November 30th of 2023. So it's a substantial window, with the thought that as the construction season starts to ramp up a little bit, it might make it difficult for that demo to occur and to get contractors in there. We know there's a shortage in some of those labor fields. The goal of the city of Winsted, when they first acquired this property, was to be able to control the demo and the blight remediation of the property. The city of Winsted never had a goal of generating revenue necessarily at the property. All they want to do is see blight removed without investing taxpayers' dollars into it. So again, this meets that goal where we will essentially be selling the land for $1 with the condition that they have to remove all the blight and bear those costs, and then they receive the land free and clear. So with that being said, is there any questions for me regarding this agreement? And I do want to note, this is a agreement that will still have some slight changes. He's established a new LLC, so that LLC listed in here is not accurate. I don't have the accurate LLC, so we'll be changing that. And he's still reviewing it with his attorney. And so I recognize that if there's substantial recommendations for changes, then we will have to bring it back to city council for approval. Okay?
Tom has a question.
Well, no, I was just going to do the motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one question.
Sure.
So he's getting the 40 by 80 shed, he's just not required to take it down?
Correct.
Okay.
He'll have to make, just knowing the condition of the building, he'll have to make improvements to it, but that's not a part of the blight abatement process.
Tom's going to make the motion. He's
Okay,
gonna-
I'll motion to authorize the interim city administrator and city attorney to negotiate a purchase agreement with Mr. Frank Byrell for the sale of real estate at 121 Baker Avenue East in Winsted, Minnesota, and that said purchase agreement be signed by all parties within 45 days or is null and void.
Okay, we have a motion by Tom. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Steve. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We've come to the organization report tonight, McLeod County Commissioner and McLeod County
And guest.
Administrator. Come on up, grab a chair, and
Brought a handout for you gentlemen
Thank
to
you.
review together.
He thinks we can read.
Thank you, Mr. Schmaltz.
Thank you.
Neil, thanks for joining us this evening.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Is it okay if we sit side by side?
Absolutely.
Are we?
that's between,
You need-
yeah, Sheila, I'm not. She wants to sit next to you, that's,
If he'll let me.
Well, like I said, when I was here last year, I brought Liz along, our new economic development coordinator, and I thought, it kind of, I'd like to do that. I'd like to highlight employees that are working for McLeod County. So the honored guest that I brought along tonight is our county administrator, Sheila Murphy. Anyway, for the record, I'm Nathan Schmaltz, Commissioner, District 1, McLeod County. And for those that do not know what District 1 includes, District 1 includes the cities of Lester Prairie, the cities of Winsted, and the cities of Silver Lake, the townships of Bergen Township, Winsted Township, and Hale Township. So I think what we'll do is just kind of page through this outline. The date on here shows March of 2023. This is the same document that I used when I visited my townships for their annual meeting. So the document, I have to give credit to administration for compiling the document at the commissioner's request. We thought it was a good idea. So that when the commissioners are out addressing their their districts. You know, we have the same talking points and kind of covering the same material collectively in McLeod County. So I'll turn the page. You'll see our McLeod County elected officials and department heads. You can see their contact information as well. And if you have questions, you know, feel free to interrupt me as I work my way through this. And the following page is Board of Appeals and Equalization. I don't think I have to explain that to you folks. You know that process very well. The evaluations, of course, are gathered by our county assessor, and they use, sales history, qualified sales history, to come up with the valuations that they're using in the process. Next page, I won't really spend a lot of time on our drainage projects. It happens to be that District 1 has the most miles of drainage in any district in McLeod County. It keeps me very focused and very busy with dealing with drainage. It's not easy. It's not an easy process. We try to be slow and deliberate when we look at these ditch systems, to give our citizens time, to digest and understand exactly what's happening on our drainage systems. We, by state statute, have an obligation to maintain our drainage systems. So, in my mind, the pathway is clear. We can't abandon our drainage systems in McLeod County. So if you think, we're always pushing these projects just because we don't want to lose what we have, and by state statute, we're required to maintain them. Next page is the ARPA update, and Sheila, if you would, please, I'd like you to speak towards our ARPA update.
No problem. So ARPA, the American Rescue Plan Act, we're thankful to Steve Statko. He's been on the Coronavirus Relief Fund Committee now for 3 years, which we didn't think would be necessary.
No.
We're hoping that this is the last round of funding that group is managing. Otherwise, we would probably need to look for new members. However, it's been a good group of individuals represented throughout the county. We have Mayor Statko, we have Lori Chuchka from Broughton, she's their city clerk. Jerry Poutman, he owns, I can't think of the seed company name, I'm sorry, Dom & Seed in Plato. And then it's myself, Colleen Robeck, our finance director, Commissioner Doug Kruger, and all right. That has been going on for quite some time, but this round of funding was for the state and local coronavirus recovery funds. And McLeod County received almost $7 million. That's with interest as of March 8th in 2023. We actually got $4.6 million as our first allocation. Or I'm sorry, yeah, that with the coronavirus relief funding. It's kind of blending together. But one of the great things that did impact the city of Winsted would be the Armor radios. And that impacted all of our public safety departments throughout the county, except for Hutchinson had already implemented the encrypted radio system and upgraded, but they're still working together with the county, and that's been a big project for Sheriff Langenfeld and Chief Deputy Aaron Ward. The McLeod County Fairgrounds and Park, $2.65 million for the improvement of county parks and fairgrounds, and then $17,000 was identified for the McLeod County Parks Plan. Over there, we have a park planning task force. There's been a Parks Commission for many, many years, and we recognize that needs to be adapted. Part of the rules in it are that only men can serve on the committee. We aren't using the Parks Commission. It had been kind of out of commission for quite some time. So the Board of Commissioners decided to arrange a task force instead to do some of that planning. It's been going well. It's a lot of work. But again, represented all throughout the county, and we went around to every county park. We have some great adjustments identified for William May Park, and one of them that's approved includes I don't know the gravel road name, I can't think of it, but it's You know it,
It
don't
goes
you?
I don't
through,
know the name, but I know what you're talking
Can't
about.
think of it.
Lover's
However,
Lane.
it's, the trail goes along the lake, the gravel road runs alongside of it, and we recognize that that's a pretty long road for people to be on their bikes or walking for that gravel road on the curve. And our plan is to connect to the trail, so that when people are coming from the park, go down the road, they will be able to trail around the lake. Our Public Works Department will actually be able to do that. Did you know the road name?
Zion?
Thank you, Zion. I wanted to say Zero, but I didn't think that was right.
You were close.
GATS, you see on your form, that's Glencoe Area Transportation Services. If you've been paying attention to our meetings, that we had $1 million allocated towards that project if it would successfully move forward. It is moving forward. So that project will be occurring. And then the Agricultural Association, they manage the McLeod County Fair. So we own the McLeod County Fairgrounds most of the year, 11 months of the year, and then 1 month of the year they technically own it. And $500,000 was given to them. So 100,000 of those dollars went to offsetting the admission costs last year. Did any of you go to the fair?
It was free.
It was, and it was impossible to park on Sunday because of that, which was great. Vendors ran out of food and water even. It was very successful. And we feel like it reached the goals of the dollars, and it was great. And then the HRA, the McLeod County Housing and Redevelopment, they were given $500,000 toward existing housing updates. So there are several cities within the county. Adam serves on the HRA and on the Economic Development Committee for McLeod County, and thank you. And he will continue to serve in those roles. And they're using that because they need updates on those homes. The hope is that if they have some sort of offset and they can invest in those properties, that in the future that they'll be able to continue growth or maintaining those homes. They've been very good for our communities. ATHC, Adult Training and Rehabilitation Center. I cannot remember the amount of dollars.
50.
I wanted to say 25.
Yep.
$50,000 was put towards some improvements there. And that's kind of an important point because we didn't do a grant program this time for small businesses or nonprofits. We identified a couple of projects that were deserving, and that was one of them, and we were very happy that you were able to.
We're very happy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting that to work. ATH, as you know, WCI in Hutchinson closed, I
Yep.
believe. And that was a really important part of our recycling center. We do miss having the work for the individuals who were there. So there's those strong feelings from the county board that they support the work being available in our communities, and we appreciate what you do. That's probably way more than you wanted to know. We have to allocate all of the funds by December 31st, 2024. That is almost complete. I don't have a balance sheet in front of you. Whatever the funds are allocated to by that date, you cannot change afterward at this point. They have to be spent by December 31st, 2026. I would probably guess the U.S. Department of Treasury will change that date of 2024, but so far, final rule, not showing any changes.
I'll add a comment when we talk about the ARPA funds from the very beginning of these federal dollars that were coming down. The county prerogative was to look at sustainability in spending this money, whether it's sustainable to benefit every citizen in McLeod County, every taxpayer in McLeod County. We looked at programs that weren't just a one and done thing. So that was a primary concern, that the benefits were spread out amongst a broad spectrum of people. Sheila highlighted the $500,000 to the McLeod County Agricultural Association. That will put us in position to probably pursue the admission-free, the free fare now for the next 4 years.
Part of when we allocated those, or made the recommendation for the board to allocate those dollars, is that we wouldn't require that they had to do that, because we don't know what their sustainability looks like as a fair board. We want them to be able to keep doing whatever they decide to do, and they're hopeful to do that. It indicates that they likely will be able to. They were doubtful last year in considering a free fare, and we were kind of scared too. It was like, well, what do you do once you do a free fare? You can't really go back. But it went so well that we believe it will be all right.
Any questions about ARPA?
We worked with the cities and townships, mostly the townships, and if any of your townships indicate that they have more questions, let us know. We'll be happy to help.
Turning the page, property valuations, you can review that on your own. And then the next page, we kind of get into some of the changes in personnel that we've experienced at McLeod County. And I kind of wanted Sheila to kind of start where we left off. You know, the last time I was here was last year, April. And so before we get into the new McLeod County attorney, Sheila, would you maybe note some changes in personnel prior to election time?
Yeah, I'll note some of our department head changes. Last time Commissioner Schmelz was here, Lynette Rupp, our county recorder, had announced her retirement. So the county board was considering changing that to an appointed position, which they did vote to do. And Deb Jensen, who had been with the county office for many years in the recorder's office as the chief deputy recorder, took the role, and she's doing very well. Things are going well in our recorder's office. Then Ryan Hanch replaced Bill Young in January. As you see, there's an article about him. He actually came in December from his county, giving up his 10-year period to help us out because of the staffing changes. So Ryan has been a phenomenal addition, and Mike Young came back part-time. So that arrangement has worked out very well. Then Jim Lauer, he's our veteran service officer. He'll be retiring near the end of May, and we plan to replace that position as well. Andrew Engel, I'm not sure any of you have met him yet, but he replaced John Brunkhorst as our county engineer and public works director last month. So things have been going good, and we're grateful to have a good team.
Yeah, I think, you know, the addition of having Ryan as county attorney, I think shows that we have a bright future in McLeod and the people that we employ in McLeod County.
I have a question regarding that.
Please.
Is that office fully staffed right now?
Just this afternoon or this morning, Ryan appoints, so the county attorney can appoint assistant county attorneys, but the board has to vote on the resolution. And he appointed a new county attorney from Stevens County as an assistant county attorney for us. So he's the elected Stevens, I believe it's Stevens County.
It was Stevens.
Thank you. He's the elected Stevens County attorney. His wife, I believe, has family here, so they'll be moving here in July, and then he'll be working with us. So the attorney's offices will be fully staffed after his hire, I believe.
So
Or there will be one more.
Okay. Are services being met at this time?
They are.
Okay.
It's a lot of hard work.
Okay.
They are, though.
All right. I've heard some rumors. So.
Oh, that's bad. So if you want to talk later, we can.
That's
or
fine.
give Ryan a call.
Yeah.
Ryan's pretty good at being available.
Yeah, I know him, so
Good, yeah. If there is something, I know he would want to hear from you, so please reach out.
I'll turn the page, and maybe before we, you know, if you want to review,
No.
if you want to review Andrew's bio a little bit, but maybe what we should first mention is, you know, John Brunkhorst had served us, 22 years, I believe, Sheila?
I don't even know, but that sounds about right.
Something like
he was
that.
there for a while.
Yes, and John resigned his position to pursue, you know, another same career, but just another opportunity for him in his life, and we support his decision to do what he wants to do, and we wish him the best. Like we said, Andrew comes with some experience in a couple other counties. The most recent experience had been in Carver County, as in their civil engineering group. Andrew was hired on about a year ago to be the assistant county engineer in McLeod. So now with John's exit, it seemed like a great career move for Andrew. Andrew is an excellent prospect. He'll be a great asset to McLeod County as well.
One of his main projects in Carver County was the roundabout by Quick Trip. And that had to be moved forward very quickly, and he did a very good job on it. So he's a great communicator. He gets in touch with people, good at talking to residents, and we're really happy you got to work with John before he started.
And it was a good family move for Andrew as well. Andrew and his family live in Hutchinson, so we're grateful to have him on board. Glencoe Transportation Truck Station, this is the project that we call GATS, that Sheila referred to earlier. The nice thing about GATS is the footprint that we show here is shared facility with MnDOT and the city of Glencoe. So this kind of takes the space that we gave up at the North Complex and at the, what we call the annex shop, and gets us up and running again with an updated and a newer shop. And at the same time, we marketed those properties to put them back on the tax roll, and now sharing this facility with the city and MnDOT. Of course, we aren't taking any land off the tax roll by pursuing this proposal. And we're at the process of, we're awarding bids for the project. I believe Andrew thinks we'll be breaking ground here in the next couple of months is, I think, what he said today.
I hope so.
Yeah, so,
One note, with the outdated shop that we had in Glencoe, because of course, there's gonna be a lot of questions, like, why would you sell your shop, start building another one? I don't know if any of you had ever been out there. Okay, so the roofs were in need of replacement, not just repair. Cold storage, definitely cold storage, it was outdated. There's repairs needed, and I know that 4.0 knew that when they purchased the property, or the holdings company did, Hennick Business Holdings. However, I believe, looking at the cost of this project and receiving the land how we did, that it's not very far off from what it would have cost within time to upgrade or repair the shop that we had existing. And this also gets rid of that office environment in the front there, the annex that Commissioner Schmaltz referred to, that we didn't need. And they're using it. That's great.
Yep. Turn the page is just its map is a little bit hard to read, but it highlights the construction projects that we have going on in McLeod County, and specifically what you'll see, there's a little red dot in the upper right-hand corner. That's our County Road 5 extension. I don't know when exactly. Maybe Josh knows when that groundwork will finally start, but my understanding is the dirt work will be done this summer, and then the following year, after settlements have occurred, we'll go with the city. And what doesn't show on here until you turn to the very last page is the roundabout project at County Road 1 and Highway 7. It's a MnDOT project, that's why it's showing up on the map. Another page. I really don't have any other comments. There's no other work scheduled for the district. I think you'll kind of see that. It looks like when we look at a 5-year plan, the work kind of clusters from district to district, and there's probably a reason for that. It's efficiency. It's getting contractors, that maybe can take on a few jobs that logistically are fairly close in proximity. The roundabout construction is scheduled to start in July, and they've set their start date after Prairie Days has been completed. I believe they anticipate the construction period to be 2 to 3 months. So we really look forward to using that to make it a safer intersection for everyone. When it comes to the safety and highway and money, I mean, that's where I set my priorities, in the safety faction of it. And if I go to Washington, D.C., if I'm talking to one of our senators or U.S. representatives, that's my talking point, is safety. That's why we ask for the money to come out and be spent in Minnesota, not just in McLeod County, but Minnesota in whole. So that's our voice when we do get a chance to get into the ears of our legislators, whether it's at the state level or whether it's at the federal level.
Any timetable on when you're going to finish County Road 1?
County Road 1, according to the 5-year plan, is scheduled for 2025.
From where you left off to here?
Exactly. They call that County Road 22, southwest of Lister Prairie. That'll give us a chance to, the roundabout construction first. There's still some engineering and some culvert crossings to look at before we pursue the County Road 1 white topping, concrete overlay. That's what's planned again as well. And we're coordinating that with Wright County. So when that happens, that white topping, that concrete road is going to go all the way to Howard Lake in the same year, the same construction period.
And then you forgot to mention to Mr. Elbers that the county has offered to do a walking path adjacent to that road too. I'm joking, of course. No, that's on the city side. We're looking at doing that adjacent with that, or in conjunction with that project, relocating some lighting and doing some pedestrian facilities adjacent.
We also have some concerns from the residents. Grass Lake, the addition out there, just west of County Road 1. We've got a proposed multi-unit apartments going out there, which probably going to add a lot more traffic. And the concern is that it's real tough for people to cross that intersection to get into town, walking or biking. So just putting that out there, we're probably going to come to the county at some point and ask if, take a look at that as far as a four-way stop or something to regulate that traffic, because that traffic is heavy. Sit at that intersection for quite a while.
So we'll reach out to the engineer and start having those conversations accordingly.
Yeah.
And yeah, whether it's a stop sign or whether it's what they call the Hawk design, pedestrian crossing, the Hawk design. You go to Hutchinson, you'll see what a Hawk is. That's the flashing lights and such where they cross by the west on Highway 7, kind of by the Cenex gas station. That's what they call a Hawk. Activated, I think, by the people crossing the road. So, I mean, there are some options other than a four-way.
We just wanted to bring it to your attention. We'll be talking about it to somebody, just because the residents are going to request it.
What is the intersection?
Main Street and County
County
Road
Run and-
1.
Yeah, Main Avenue West and County Road 1.
And I don't know if we call it, we've got a flashing thing that they activate now,
Pedestrian light.
but it's not doing the job.
I'll open it up to you folks. I'm sure you'll have some questions of Sheila or myself.
I don't have a question, but I do have a request. We've been here since this morning, 9 o'clock, interviewing our next candidate for city administrator. We officially are offering him the job tonight. I'm requesting that he and I come up and introduce himself to the county board. We want to keep that relationship that we have established intact. I think we have a good relationship with the county, and I want to make sure our new administrator follows through with that.
Tomorrow is our city and county administrator meeting at 12 o'clock in Hutchinson. And I will mention that to them. If you want to confirm to me whether or not it's accepted, you can get a hold of me. Otherwise, we'll wait.
Yeah, he's going to be rather busy the first week or two, but we definitely want to get his face in front of the county board and meet the staff if possible. Not all the staff, but them players.
I think Adam has done a good job establishing that relationship will continue because he's already messed. Committee is. We will have open arms.
Like his head isn't big enough now.
When you get asked to stay on committees after you leave your job, that's probably a compliment. But we do have that group for the person as well, and I think that's helpful. So most of the cities participate, and of course, we would love to have you both at the county board meeting, and we can put that on the agenda.
And I'll echo Mayor Stutko's concerns as well, that I mean, I wouldn't be happier, you know, with us having a good working relationship back and forth. When I ran for commissioner, that was one of the goals of mine, is to make sure that I could approach a city council, that I could approach a township board. And I do pretty well with the townships. I struggle a little bit more with the cities, but that's okay. So again, that's why I enjoy coming in and interacting with you folks. I represent you at the county level, the same as someone who lives in a township. So I value that relationship, and let's hope that we can build on that relationship as well.
No, it's important. Anybody have any questions?
No, just thank you both for all
Yeah.
you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Really appreciate you taking your time to come this evening. That's very important, so thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank
Yep.
you. We've come to the open forum section of the meeting tonight. If anybody wants to address the council, step up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and have at it.
My name is Chad Benda. So,
Do you want to,
sit down.
yeah, and then get the microphone.
Yeah,
You're pretty soft-spoken.
sorry. No, yeah, I'm Chad Benda from Cokato. And I realize you guys just passed the motion here for,
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
sorry. Yeah, so I realize you just passed the motion for authorize the purchase agreement here at 121 Baker. I just would like to express my interest if negotiations don't go through or something doesn't work out with Frank Byerly. To put forth a proposal, for the property there at 121 Baker. Thank you.
Right,
Yeah,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Adam, time for your update, if you have any.
Sure. I do have an update in regards to the residential property or project that Steve referenced earlier. Again, just as a recap, we did receive land use applications on that property or that project. The Plan Commission has recommended for approval pending DNR approval. Right now, we have not received that from the DNR. That project is subject to removing the land, currently removing the land from the shoreland district associated with Grass Lake Farms, and that is a stumbling block right now in the project. So we're doing the best we can to work with the DNR, find solutions, but that's certainly going to hold up that project. There's no doubt about it. Their scheduling and their communication ability, it just limits our ability to proceed or to find headways on the project. So right now that project is halted to some degree until we can find some solutions with the DNR and move forward. They're concerned about our visual impact to the Grass Lake Farms with this project, as well as I view some misunderstanding on state statute regarding some drainage, etc. We're trying to find solutions as soon as they're willing to communicate that with us. Right now, that project is on hold, or we have a 60-day extension with the applicant as part of that platting process. So that's where we're at to meet our state statutes. Other than that, that's all that I have this evening. Thank you.
Councilman, have anything? If not, looking for a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.